Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Riesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Bernie Youngblood, CEO and founder of ThinkPartners. Please enjoy Bernie Youngblood. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today, I'm here with Bernie Youngblood, CEO and founder of ThinkPartners. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mari. I do appreciate the opportunity.
I am super excited to dig into creativity and how it shows up in your world. But before we get there, why don't you take a couple of minutes and let our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Sure, of course, as we all have a story to tell. Well, my story began with a degree in finance, came out of college way back in the previous millennium, back in the early 90s. At the height of the S&L loan crisis, my first job out of college was helping one of our family businesses through bankruptcy,
Oh,
which
wow.
was a successful exit, but not something that I enjoyed. So following that, I pivoted into the field of sales and marketing. As I suggest, I refer to myself as an accidental serial entrepreneur. It's never something I intended to do, but I stumble upon these beautiful gifts that have been granted into the world, and I can only think that it is one of our obligations to shepherd these beautiful creations into their natural, help them to become, what it is that they were intended to become.
Hmm.
And I'm on number 8 now, so
Wow.
a few more than most.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been quite a journey, passion, a lifelong passion project, I suppose you might say. Pray for my wife. I do not know how she endures me.
Sounds like you are a very busy human and very active in all of the things.
I am not bashful. I'm a proud workaholic.
Ah,
I, I, I
okay.
do not believe we were placed on this earth to, I'm going to upset some people. I'm afraid right out of the gate. I'm going to do it. I do not believe we were placed on this earth to drink beer and watch football.
Fair. I'm sure you're not alone in those
Yes.
sentiments. And
Yeah. And there, with all the tragedy that is
Mhm.
unfolding in real time all across the world,
Mhm.
including in this nation, I
Mhm.
don't know how people sit idle. I mean,
Mm,
it's important to
yeah,
recharge, of course,
sure.
but I don't know how people sit idle.
Well, maybe that's something we get to dig into today. But I'm curious for you, when you think of creativity and being creative, what does it mean to you to be creative?
Mari, ever since I got the invitation to this podcast, I've been reflecting on that because I think it's a very important question that for some reason our culture refuses to answer. As the expression I use to describe how our culture approaches creativity today, I believe our culture abhors innovation. And
Hmm.
very careful word selection there, abhors, right?
Hmm.
And so to be a creative is to be a rebel, right? To be a creative is to be a weirdo. To be a creative is to live a life of struggle, to be sure. And I believe that's one of the great tragedies of
Hmm.
our lives because, not to put it too starkly, but if given all those premises, right, and where we are today,
Hmm.
um, how we have worked so fervently to kill creativity, actively,
Hmm.
literally
Hmm.
kill creativity. If you look at the world as it exists today, which is horrible, absolutely horrible, look at where we are.
Hmm.
Are you proud of yourselves? Right?
Mm,
You treat the world as a machine. You treat the businesses as a machine. You run the world through spreadsheets. And
mm,
look at where we are.
mm,
I
mm,
believe creativity is one of the singular. I think I avoided your question very astutely, but I think creativity is one of the singular solutions to many of the world's great tragedies, but we don't quite do enough of it. To answer your question, however, I believe peace, finding, not to quote uh, Kung Fu Panda, but finding inner peace is one of the quickest paths to creativity. And
mm,
another expression I use, one of the, and Steve Jobs bore this out, one of the ways to achieve creativity is to slow down. And to extend that comment, we must slow down in order to do more.
mm, mhm.
I don't know if that adequately answers your question. I
It
am
sure does.
on my
Yeah.
journey. I'm 55 years of age, but I am a long way from, I'm still a lump of clay, a long way from being a finished product. And make no mistake, when in doubt, I'm making it up as I go along.
Sure. I appreciate the reminder of achieving creativity, we must slow down and the slowing down experience. So, how does that marry to being a workaholic?
Mari, wow. You don't beat around the bush, do you? You go right for the
No.
jugular. No, no, I can really appreciate that. So I suppose workaholic's not the right term.
Mm,
Um, I think what I might suggest is I don't like being idle.
yeah.
If we might consider meditation practices, right?
Mm,
Which is
mm-hmm.
something that creatives should do, right?
Mm,
What I might also suggest is meditation is not about being on the top of the mountain.
mm-hmm.
Meditation is not about being in the smoke hut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is about finding your center
Mm,
and living within. People
mm-hmm.
talk about sensory deprivation tanks,
Yeah.
and I've never done it, but I have to sometime soon. And a lot of people suggest I was heard it said just recently that that most of the world's problems can be attributed to the fact that uh, man cannot live with himself, right?
Mm, mm-hmm.
Quote unquote man cannot find his inner peace, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they say that if you engage in a sensory deprivation tank, you can go mad, right? But it doesn't make sense to me because
Mm,
perhaps I'll find out that it's true, but finding that inner peace and exploring it is really
mm-hmm.
where this journey begins. And for me, you're going to find this ironic. And I own my brand. My brand is Weirdo. It was given to me by a friend, by a very dear friend, one of my best friends. In fact, the my meditation practice is email.
Mm,
I promise you, I would much, did I mention weirdo? I would much rather spend an afternoon cleaning out my email box than I would watching a football game.
mm-hmm.
That's that's where my ideas flow. When I'm
Mm.
deleting spam, for some
Mm-hmm.
reason, I am inspired with ideas. I don't know where they
Mm-hmm.
come from, right?
Sure. I
So, yeah.
I love that. I love you know, oftentimes we find within creativity that we get our most creative ideas when we're doing some mundane task that we don't have to think
Yes.
a lot about, such as
Yes.
deleting spam, taking a shower, washing dishes. So
That's
it
it.
sounds like you flow right into that experience. I love
And
that.
our culture suggests that that's what's called being a workaholic. But
Mm.
no, if that's where you get if that's where you find peace, and God bless,
Hmm.
go for it, right? That's where you belong. And then of
Hmm.
course, my antagonist is going to say, "Well, I find peace watching football." Okay, fine. It's a whole
Here's
separate
the thing,
discussion.
maybe they do, and
Yes,
everyone's allowed to experience their peace in different places and in different ways. And the idea of what creativity can ignite and having those peaceful moments. But I understand what you're saying and how challenging it can be to think that someone doing something different than you're
Right.
finding peace can find peace in their own way. But that's the
Yes.
beauty of creativity, right?
Yes.
Everyone gets to find their own.
Yes.
Well, when you started this newest endeavor, Think Partners, or maybe you can speak to this from any one of the entrepreneurial endeavors you've had. What are some of those more creative challenges that you've bumped up against? And then how do you navigate those challenges when you find yourself facing them?
It's a and you bring up a good subject because any idea. I had an investor. I work with a lot of investors, and one of them suggested to me a while back. People are always concerned about intellectual property
Mm-hmm.
and protecting their intellectual property. And I have a new idea, and I want to present it to an investor, but I don't want them to steal it from me because it's great. It's
Mm.
so new. It's revolutionary. And I had an investor call me out on that one time. He said, "Bernie, relax. If your idea is truly revolutionary and truly, a new concept, you don't have to worry about your intellectual property. Your potential competitors will run from you. Your investors will run from you. This world does not want a new idea. Investors, not to beat up on them, investors don't want new. They
Mm-hmm.
want proven. They
Mm-hmm.
want cash flow, right?
Yeah.
Shark Tank wants cash flow, right? And that's one of the problems with where we are. So bumping up against those challenges, I've also been told, and every once in a while I have my own ideas, but I listen carefully to others first, that when it is time for an idea to be released into the universe, it will happen. You
Mm.
can force it. I've built businesses that just naturally came together, and I've
Mm-hmm.
built businesses that were the proverbial boulder rolling up a hill. I've done it both ways, and
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the former.
Mm-hmm.
But but it is possible to do both.
Mm-hmm.
You can force new ideas into the world. It's a lot harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, for my part, how I overcome those challenges, uh, aside from blood, sweat, and tears, one of the most powerful weapons I've ever wielded in my life for all the greatest challenges I've ever faced is love, which
Mm.
sounds contradictory, of course. But when I come upon some of the greatest enemies I've ever faced, um, if given, and I can attest to this, given sufficient time, and time is a valuable component to this.
Mm-hmm.
Given sufficient time, there is no enemy that I have ever not defeated with love.
Mm.
To quote
Mm-hmm.
a biblical reference, it's like pouring hot coals upon their head to
Mm.
love them.
Mm-hmm.
Given sufficient time, you don't always have the time,
Sure. That
but
makes
and
sense.
time is a weapon as well.
Yeah.
So leveraging time against my enemies, leveraging love against my enemies, and the enemy could be a new idea, could be a person, could be a company.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the greatest weapons I've had.
Mm. I can appreciate the love and time, and that time doesn't always bend to our desires.
No.
So it may take longer than we want or anticipate, and learning how to love those moments when they don't go our way.
Yes. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Well, when you in your own life experience creativity, what's your earliest memory of being creative?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I gotta go back with that one. Well, I'm ashamed. Yeah, I'm not ashamed. I'm embarrassed. Let me use I'm embarrassed. Like most boys, I was into model rockets.
Mm.
And the Estes model rocket company, I think they're still around today. They still make these rockets today, which is so fun. It was model rockets. blasting these things up into the air and burning things in the process, and Legos and
Mm-hmm.
constructing Lego spaceships and burning a few of those too, I suppose. I think I was a bit of a pyromaniac when I was a child, like many young boys, I suppose. The I was addicted to space travel, uh,
Mm.
trekking, and so on and so forth. So yes, I am a sci-fi fanatic. The That's where I think I found the roots of my creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that really the it's not quite as it's not a sexy story, but that's the truth.
It's okay. Maybe a follow-up question to that. How does those early creative experiences, building things, show up in your life today? Is that kind of where the drive to have, is the curiosity of what can I do with that? How can I burn it or not? You know?
And I always put the fire. I was the guy who put the fire out. I did have friends that tried to fan the flames of the fire, but I was the safety conscious. I was the raised by a single mom. I was concerned about these things, but
Hmm.
the the it's a good follow. God, I wish I'd done my homework. The you're the you're demonstrating your prowess as
Oh,
an
thank you.
experienced host, Mari, taking
Thank
me
you,
through my
Bernie.
paces. I think opening a child's mind to the idea of space, and
Mm.
as an anecdote, we understand less about sleep than we do about the oceans. We understand less about oceans than we do about space.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that said, opening a child's mind to the impossible infinity of space,
Mm.
and the potential does, and the mind is we are organic chemical reactions in progress, right? The mind can be programmed over time, as
Hmm.
the neurons and whatnot. Opening a child's mind to the infinite possibilities of space, I believe, and the impact it had on my life was rooted this concept that the impossible can be possible. We can travel to far off stars. We can exceed the speed of light. We can do all the molecular, and physics, defy physics, so to speak, all the exploration that I believe we were always intended to do. And so the reaction the as a byproduct of that, when I approach business,
Hmm.
I don't believe in impossible. Everything when it comes to business, this business is simple. When it comes to business, there is no such thing as impossible. Now, getting to Alpha Centauri, people could consider that that would be impossible. But
Hmm.
launching a new product into the market, difficult, a lot more difficult today than it used to be.
Sure.
A lot more difficult today, but far from impossible.
Mm. Hmm.
I think that plants the seeds in a young child's mind, which are important because the
Hmm.
challenges we face today are seemingly insurmountable, but of course not impossible.
Yeah. So, as that child who had the wonder about space, do you feel like that has allowed you to tackle seemingly difficult but not impossible things in business?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Maury, your roots in psychology are showing.
Yes,
You are
yes.
exploring my inner child.
Always. It's always comes back to that for sure.
Yes.
Well,
No, it's
in the
true.
work that you do with Think Partners, you were telling me before we started recording, it's marketing. You do a lot of marketing. So I'm guessing and assuming you work with a lot of different types of people,
Yes.
different, opportunities, products, experiences. So how do you navigate other people's voices, ideas in conjunction with your own creative voice when you're working for someone else?
It's the it's the easiest thing I do.
Mm.
And I think it's probably a gift that I was given. The core of what I do, and I believe I'm a Christian dude, but for whatever faith that we possess, I believe that each of us has been given a gift.
Mm.
And if we are so fortunate as to discover that gift while we are alive, it is then our obligation to share that gift with the world. That is what was always intended.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can affect this process in your personal relationships, in your business relationships, and in business creation.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do with each of my clients is an exploration in what are the gifts that they were intended to share with the world. And then once we
Mm-hmm.
identify those gifts, we work fervently to figure out how to get them out there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in sixth grade, and I was told I was either going to be a grocery store cashier or a forest ranger. That's what I
Oh,
was supposed to do, right?
wow.
Okay. And so we're pressing onto young minds this idea that you need to fit like a puzzle piece into this puzzle of life, but the puzzle
Mm-hmm.
is jacked. We all know it. So
Sure.
can we get beyond that, please, and allow those children? It's one of the challenges. I have a project I'm working on in the education field. How do we help children discover who it is that they were meant to be, not what
Mm.
society wants them to become?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I call it marketing, but really it's discovering and sharing gifts.
Mm. Okay. How open to, I mean, I assume people come to your company knowing this about you and they're game for it and along for the ride, but what happens when your clients' own barriers arise and that
It's
tension comes in?
it's a dimension weirdo. This is my brand, right?
Mhm.
It's not what people do,
Yeah.
If you look at, so you go into social media as a whole thing. I think social media is wonderful, and I think social media as a teenager, and I believe that we don't really know what social media is yet, but we'll find out in the years to come.
Hmm.
But you take that for an example, the current theory is if you want to blow up on social media, you check the apps and the algorithms to find out what's trending. And if it's Caterpillar farms, then you
Mm.
start posting on Caterpillar farms. And if
Mm.
you if you if
Hmm.
you sprinkle in a little bit of sex or a skateboarder on jumping off a
Hmm.
roof or a puppy dog, you can go viral with that Caterpillar farm, and that
Hmm.
sexy presentation. Oh my, what are we doing here? Okay. It's stupid, right? I think what's
Sure.
more important is to be intentional.
Mm.
And that,
Hmm.
and so it's difficult. And so it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak, for the faint of heart, so to speak.
Hmm.
One of my favorite clients, Hot Logic, they have a product that is the only known alternative to the microwave in the facility break room space. And they've shipped 1 million units. They've done quite well, but no one's ever heard of it
Hmm.
because they're going toe to toe with the microwave. The
Hmm.
microwave is, obviously a behemoth. It enjoys hegemony over fast food, fast hot food. But the microwave's not great.
Hmm.
And so you would think if you could introduce a legitimate competitor to the microwave, then it would, it's going to take off, it's going to blow up. But no, it's been a struggle.
Hmm.
The trying to convince people that, you know, irradiating your food is a good thing. Um, Somehow 50 years the microwave has, brainwashed us all that this is how we should do things. It's
Hmm.
even when the battle looks uh, even when the battle is assumed to be easy, I
Mm.
promise you there are challenges that will emerge that
Hmm.
will destroy you if you let them.
Yeah.
But but a word of encouragement, because I always project a message of hope. When you're doing what you know is right,
Mm.
and challenges continue to befall you. I don't even know what that word means, but I'm going to use it. Challenges continue to befall you,
Mm.
and weird challenges and dramatic challenges. And when these things are happening in my life, what that tells me is I'm on the right path.
Mm.
If stupid things are happening, forgot my password, broke my phone, flat tire,
Mm.
I think it's important to once again get back to that place of peace from
Hmm.
whence this inspiration came.
Mm.
Confirm
Hmm.
the hypothesis. What I'm doing is right. What I'm doing is just. What I'm doing must be done.
Mm.
And then, despite the consequences, despite the challenges that 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 that, that you come upon, know that you're doing the right thing. And so I double down.
Hmm.
When the enemy, so to speak, whoever that might be, punches me in the face, I lean in, to borrow the
Okay.
term. That only confirms that what I'm doing is right.
Got it. Okay.
I got on a bit of a bend there. Sorry about that.
That's okay. All right. Interesting to hear, how others view the hiccups or roadblocks or bumps in the road.
Yeah.
And so I can appreciate a different perspective in
Yes.
that realm. So if people feel like they are struggling to find their gift or their creative voice, how would you encourage them to do that?
Well, it's a difficult thing. And again, I don't know if I've discovered my gift. I'm 55 and I don't know if I've discovered my gift. I have some
Mm,
clues. I think I'm doing some things, but I don't think I've discovered my gift. And that's one of the great ironies of life. You look at someone like Morgan Freeman, right?
hmm
Late in life, he's become a superstar, right? Now he just trademarked his voice, I guess, with AI.
hmm
So that's a whole thing all to itself. The expression I use, and it's as people described, you know, steel is forged in a fire, right? Again,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what faith you subscribe to, you are always being prepared.
Mm,
You are to become who you are always intended to be, right?
mm,
And so what I encourage people, it's difficult to do. I've been there myself because struggle, the struggle is real. I was raised by a single mom who was divorced twice. Twice. My wife was raised by a single mom who was divorced twice, and
hmm
and this and we're first we're awash in first world problems. We just don't know how good we have it.
mm,
But at the same time, I guess if I were to offer some encouraging words, it is only this. I myself struggle to thank God, again, whatever faith you subscribe to,
hmm
for the blessings that continue to rain down upon us every
mm,
day, particularly in this nation. We have clean water, right? We have, the we can find warmth. We can if we work towards it, we can find food, right?
hmm
And there are billions throughout the world who do not have access to any of that.
As we wrap things up today, so I'm aware of our time, I'm curious, what does it feel like in your body to be creative?
Oh, wow. What's painful for me, so I don't play any musical instruments, and you don't want to hear me sing. I promise you that, and I couldn't draw a circle if I had a protractor. But so I don't have all the classical talents that are considered to be creative,
hmm
right? But by the same token as a theme of our conversation today, um, it's not just the arts, of
hmm
course, that are creative.
Yeah.
Within business, you can be creative. Within science, you can be creative. And so for me, in the work that I do, um, where I find the greatest, I'll say, outlet for
hmm
creativity
hmm
comes in sitting down with someone. And forgive me, I'll revisit the subject we've already covered. Pouring love into them,
Mm-hmm.
watering the flower to
Yeah.
allow it to grow. That's a terrible analogy. But pouring love into them so that they can become the person that they were meant to be.
Mm.
And for some reason, I seem to have a knack for this. I don't know if it's my gift or not. Um, but for some reason, I found an outlet
hmm
for my, call it creativity,
Yeah.
and helping to inspire others. I'm not going to
Mhm.
call myself a
I
muse
love
because
it.
that's quite silly, but I have, and I will encourage others, pick your 12, the 12 folks that are closest to you. And here's my
Mm-hmm.
challenge: pour love into them and see if you can help them. There's this expression I pulled off the wall of my dentist a long time ago from a from a from a an art piece hanging on my dentist's wall. I want to make sure I emphasize that. If I treat you as though you are the person that you are capable of becoming, I help you to become that.
Mm.
Pick your 12,
Yeah.
pour love into them,
Mm-hmm.
help them to become the best people that they can be. I don't care what happens to me. I don't. I get hit by a bus tomorrow. I've lived a good life. It doesn't matter. But if I can help them, my life can have meaning.
All right. I appreciate that sentiment. Thank you, Bernie,
All
so
right.
much for taking the time to chat with me. If people want to learn more about the work you do, how could they go about doing that?
Well, think-partners.com. HotLogic, of course, is hotlogic.com. There's a good gratuitous plug. I'm on all the channels, the Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, of course, all the places an old man shouldn't be, but having some fun with it at the same time.
Perfect. Well, I will put links in show notes so people have easy access. And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
This is great. A great way to spend a Monday morning.
Perfect. Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.